Well, hey guys, it's Michael here from Change Your Mind. How's it going? It's been a little while since I've checked into YouTube, so thought I'd give you a quick update. Well, I've been traveling in Central and South America for a bit, and when I came back home, I pretty quickly went out commercial herring fishing. So I've been working on this boat. And chasing these little beautiful fishies. And so yeah, that explains a bit of my absence from YouTube, but here I am. But anyways, I thought I'd touch base because I just finished a phone call with my niece, and we were talking about many things, one of them being anxiety and her own struggles. And at the moment, I'm getting ready to design a community with a bunch of resources for helping people with anxiety. And so it was a perfect opportunity for me to talk to her about her issues and get her perspective on things. And it's really amazing. The more people I talk to, the more I discover just how crazy, just how many people are actually dealing with some aspect of anxiety or depression or basically emotional overwhelm, and to the point of it being debilitating. Anyways, my niece was just talking briefly, and I ended up talking about my episode when I was her age and how I ended up in the back of an ambulance on my way to hospital after a series of panic attacks. And she's just saying to me that last summer that she experienced her first panic attack, and quite calmly. I was surprised. But anyways, my point being is that if you happen to be one of those people that is maybe a little bit more sensitive or has a little bit more emotional bandwidth than the average person, then there is a possibility that you're more prone to experience anxiety and or depression. But my point being is that you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there that experience the same sorts of emotional fluctuations and difficulties in life. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to be working on this community, and hopefully sometime in the near future, in the next month to 6 weeks, having something up and running to beta test. And I guess one of the reasons why I'm here with this video is to put it out there that I am looking for founding members for my community to do a bit of a test, to try out different aspects of the community, what's going to work and what's not going to work. So basically, I'm looking for some guinea pigs or beta members, people to get things up and running and to test things out. And so if you figure that you might be interested and you experience anxiety or some form of depression, then by all means, feel free to contact me. The information is in the description below, but it'd be great to hear from you. It'd be great to hear from you, and also to have the opportunity to work together and to see about what we can come up with. Anyways, let me know. So at the moment, I'm just on Hornby Island in beautiful British Columbia, BC, in the middle of a break from the commercial herring fishery. We just pulled into town for a little bit, just in between different spawns in the local area. So I have this opportunity to get caught up with you, take you for a little walk along the shoreline, check out some of the beautiful scenery. But yeah, it's kind of a really amazing time of year, the spring. The plants and flowers are starting to come out, the days are getting longer, the sun's starting to actually have a warming effect, which is really nice for a change. But yeah, this is a really cool spot. Yeah, one of the many things I really enjoy doing is getting to a new place, particularly the islands, and just getting out and walking around. I've been known in a lot of places to hop onto an island and try to walk around the entire thing. I actually spent a year in Australia traveling around the entire continent, which was quite interesting and fun and very insightful. But yeah, I kind of inspired by a book called Across Oceans and Islands, written by a hero of mine, Mr. Baldwin. And he basically sails around the world in a little sailboat called the Atom. And whenever he gets to an island, he likes to hike up and over, typically the highest peak on the mountain, and cross to the other side. And that was kind of his thing, just sailing around the world and hiking across islands. So anyways, using that as my inspiration, whenever I get ashore in a new place, I kind of like to go and explore and see what I can find by walking around. So here we are. Let's go for a little walk. Come along with me for a little walk today in the spring sunshine on Hornby Island. But one of the interesting things that came up in my discussion with my niece was just the phenomenal number of people that are actually experiencing some aspect of anxiety that affects their lives in a really profound negative way. And she's saying to me that almost all of her friends have experienced some form of pretty deep anxiety to the point of leading to nervous breakdowns and panic attacks. And so it's pretty crazy when you think about it. Like, she's 22, and so in that demographic, there's just so many people at the moment in their early to mid 20s that are experiencing crazy amounts of anxiety in their lives to the point where it actually has a really, really big impact. Specifically with my niece, I asked her, like, does your anxiety interfere with your life to the point where it affects your decision making and the choices that you make? And she said absolutely yes. And that every day for her is a struggle to find different ways to rise above and get beyond it, to move ahead and move forward in her life. So yeah, I guess my point being is that, like, if you're out there and you're experiencing anxiety or any kind of other emotional overwhelm, just to know that you're not alone and that there are a lot of other people out there. And I think if we get everybody together and start talking about things and having an exchange of ideas and different ways of approaching and managing and learning from each other, then, you know, everybody can make that giant leap forward and towards living life in a world that is free from anxiety and any of the negative aspects that it brings into our lives. It's crazy walking around here. All of the rock forms along the shoreline here, the rock formations look crazy. They look like a bunch of little brains stuck to the seashore. But yeah, check this out. Some random feral sheep in the mix. Cute little guys. Yeah, so anyways, these crazy rock formations, they always get me into thinking strange things. And it just made me think that, you know, like all these rocks, they kind of look like a big brain, and maybe the earth itself is actually one giant living being. And as we walk on its surface, we're actually walking on top of its freaking brain. I wonder what kind of thoughts, low thoughts are going on in its mind. But yeah, anyways, and then also just thinking, expanding that to, you know, if you think of how a brain is made up of a whole bunch of individual brain cells that are connected, well, what if each human individual, each human is a cell in the greater brain that is humanity? And so, you know, if we are in the middle of our lives and we're experiencing anxiety and depression, are we really functioning? Are we really contributing to the intelligence that is humanity? Or are we broken down and a broken link in the chain and the link between different connections? So something to think about. If you're suffering from anxiety and depression, are you living your best version of yourself? Are you living a life full of meaning and purpose, with your destiny plotted out before you, with your trajectory to do what you've been designed to do and to contribute in a meaningful way in this lifetime? These are all the questions that walking along the shore brings to mind here on this beautiful, sunny spring day on Hornby Island. Yeah, and the other thing that came up in the conversation with my niece was just, you know, the sheer fact that, you know, the question I put to her was basically, do you think that your anxiety is something that you can potentially overcome, or do you think that you're just going to have to adapt and that it's going to persist throughout your entire life? And, you know, she wasn't really sure, but she wasn't very optimistic. She just figured it was something that she's going to have to learn to live with and adapt to. And but I made it very clear to her that I'm a firm believer that it is something that you can eradicate from your life. You just have to find the means and the solution and work towards it every day. And I think it's possible for anybody that suffers from any kind of emotional disturbance or overwhelm, either in the form of anxiety, depression, or anything else, that there is a way. You just have to stay focused and day by day, just keep working at it. And with all the programs and resources that I'm creating, that's the idea, is to present ideas in ways so that in everyday and basic ways you can incorporate mechanisms for working towards the end goal, which is to ultimately liberate yourself from the overbearing and shitty aspects of anxiety and how it really holds us back in our lives. So, yeah. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to tell you today with this little video here is that if you are experiencing anxiety or depression or any other kind of emotional overwhelm, I want to let you know that you can overcome it. And there are mechanisms and ways and things that you can do in your daily life in order to rise above these lower states of being. So there is hope. That's my point is, and let's just stop looking at anxiety and depression as disorders, because I don't think they are. Sure, there is some chaos involved in your internal psychology and your inner states. But instead of looking at it as disorder, this thing that is potentially wrong with you, let's just start looking at the whole thing as a challenge, a game, the game of life that you have to play. So if we look at it from the perspective that your anxiety or your depression has been presented to you, has been gifted to you as a challenge for you to learn, to rise up inside your being and become a better version of yourself, that's a really great place to start. And I think with that attitude, a positive mental attitude, and looking at it as a challenge to work against, part of yourself to struggle with, then it'll make it that much easier for you to find the solution, rather than getting all bummed out and down on the fact that you got this thing and everybody else is enjoying their life and free and easy. No, just who cares what everybody else? Focus on yourself and what you can do in your daily life in order to alleviate and confront the parts of you that are pulling you down, and to rise up in your being and to face this challenge head on. Yeah, so let's get to it. Yeah, so I have a few videos in the pipeline coming up to be released over the next month or so. And among those is a little bit of my bio, a little bit of a story about me and my own personal experience with anxiety and depression, and where it led me and how it has brought me actually to this moment here with you on this journey of learning about psychology and human behavior and all the aspects that contribute to the emotional imbalances and the internal chaos that leads to the symptoms of anxiety and depression. So yeah, anyways, I really look forward to you getting those videos to you, and yeah, they will be coming shortly. All right, well, I think I got to get back to the boat now, because I'm sure the rest of the crew are wondering where I am. Disappeared for a while, and we have work to do. So it's time to get back out on the water. Until I see you again, there is a video coming soon, I promise. I'm working on it right now. I've been editing on the boat while I've been out fishing. And so I'll be bringing that to you shortly. And until then, take care. And thank you once again. As always, your presence here is truly a gift. And I really look forward to seeing you soon. Bye. the den of a river otter. It smells absolutely putrid. It's a pile of shit, and that's where they live, right in there. Crazy. This little guy's home.